Of The Atlantic magazine claiming President Trump called America's fallen service members suckers and losers. The president denying that report vehemently. Top Pentagon officials are weighing in. National security correspondent Jennifer Griffin has more on that. Jennifer.
John, I've spoken with two senior U.S. officials who were on the trip to France who confirmed to me key details in the Atlantic article and the quotes attributed to the president. My source, a former Trump administration official, told me when the president spoke about the Vietnam War, he said it was a stupid war. Anyone who went was a sucker. The president would say about American veterans, what's in it for them? They don't make any money. The source said it was a character flaw of the president. He could not understand why someone would die for their country. Not worth it. Regarding the French trip to mark the end of World War I, according to this former official, the president was not in a good mood. French President Macron had said something that made him mad. He questioned why he had to go to two cemeteries. Why do I have to do two? His staff explained he could cancel, but he was warned, they, the press, are going to kill you for this. The president was mad as a hornet when they did, according to this source. When asked if the president could have driven to the Aisne-Marne cemetery, this former official said confidently that there was not a security reason not to drive to the cemetery, which was about 40 miles from Paris. Quote, the president drives a lot. The other world leaders drove to the cemeteries. He just didn't want to go. Regarding the president's July 4th military parade planning, during a planning session at the White House after seeing the Bastille Day parade in 2017, President Trump said regarding the inclusion of wounded guys, quote, that's not a good look. Americans don't like that. Regarding Senator McCain, the president, according to this source, just hated John McCain. He always asked, why do you see him as a hero? Two sources confirmed the president did not want the flags lowered after McCain died, but others in the White House ordered them at half-mast. There was a standoff, and then the president relented. Meantime, Defense Secretary Mark Esper just issued a statement praising the president. Quote, President Trump has the highest respect and admiration for our nation's military members, veterans, and families. That is why he has fought for greater pay and more funding for our armed forces. John, back to you.
On a day when Trump's only defense is to pretend that the Atlantic isn't trustworthy enough for anyone to believe their reporting, it really doesn't help his case that Fox News just came out and publicly confirmed the report. This comes in the aftermath of the Atlantic's damning reporting, outlining comments made by Trump wherein he called American soldiers who died in war losers and suckers for getting killed, and that he wanted wounded veterans to be kept out of military parades. He also needed to know who the good guys were in World War I, and voiced how he didn't understand why the United States would intervene on the side of the Allies, and finally that he was furious over having to lower the flags to half-staff to honor John McCain after he died. And Fox's corroboration aside, let's just be honest here. The only way this could sound more like Donald Trump is if there was a section on killer windmills or toilets that don't flush. The fact is that we know enough about Trump's character as it is that we have no problem believing reporting like this. But when it comes to the military, it's even easier. Since even before he became president, Trump's track record with the military has been dismal at best. From claiming that he liked soldiers that weren't captured, to refusing to visit a World War I cemetery because it was raining, to abandoning the Kurds and thereby destroying a vital alliance that we need in our fight against ISIS, to attacking Gold Star families, to using the military as a way to siphon money into his failing Turnberry resort, Trump's entire relationship with the military has been rife with not only disrespect, but utter contempt. And yet that hasn't stopped Trump from still claiming that the Atlantic's reporting is a hoax, even if it was confirmed by his own pet network. And yet that's a tell in and of itself. When Trump calls something a hoax, that's effectively proof that it's true. He called the Russia investigation a hoax, despite the fact that it was by no means a hoax and led to a number of arrests and indictments. He called his impeachment a hoax, despite the fact that we know he extorted a foreign country for dirt on Joe Biden. And so nothing helps corroborate the Atlantic's reporting more than the guy who brands real events hoaxes, calling it a hoax. The fact is that we knew the quality of Trump's character in 2016, but people still gave him the benefit of the doubt for a number of reasons. They figured his business experience would compensate for it, they figured he would grow into the job. But he never grew into the job, and the only elements of his business experience that he brought into the presidency are the same ones that caused most of his companies to go bankrupt. Trump is the first president in modern American history to actually lose jobs. The unemployment rate is back up to where it was during the Great Recession. We've lost almost 190,000 Americans to coronavirus coronavirus because of his administration's botched handling. And so while Trump's character flaws didn't have much of an impact in 2016, the fact is that he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt in 2020. The results speak for themselves. So at this point, when Trump is exposed for having trashed the military, that's only compounded by his ineffectiveness as a leader. He's got nothing left to compensate with. There's nothing left to point to as his saving grace. His character is bad, and his governing ability is bad. So he will surely continue to dig in his heels, but when his own favorite network isn't able to save him, it's become obvious who's to believe. So the fact is that you can support the military in this country, or you can support Donald Trump, but you can't support both. While you're here, please subscribe to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I take a deeper dive into the week's biggest stories and interview major players in the world of politics, like Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Katie Porter, Nancy Pelosi, Cory Booker, Eric Swalwell, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.